This is Kojo Raps on TV. I'm live with the head of boxing business development, Mr. Adam Smith. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Fight night, we're here. The wait is more or less over. We had the weigh-in yesterday. Tell me can I get your reaction, please, to the weights of both fighters?
Well, I flew in after the weigh-in, so I missed the sort of hoopla of the Fury fans. I mean, I've seen most of them over the last 24 hours, and an unbelievable atmosphere here. But both have come in heavy. I think Deontay wasn't ever going to come in as light as he did last time. I think they felt he came in too light, and I don't think he was in 100% physical condition before the first fight. So I think they're always going to put a bit of weight on him. But I think that's okay. It may backfire a little bit back end of the fight. If he's obviously going in for power, as we know, and maybe he's going in for more early power. As far as Tyson goes, I think he always said he was going to come in roughly around this weight. I'd liked him to probably come in a bit later. I mean, I want him sort of light on his feet. I thought he won the first fight by 3 rounds. I thought he deserved the decision that night. Getting up off the floor, obviously everyone talks about the 12th round and the miracle, but really he boxed really well that night. And I think Wilder was very, very confused by him. And I think that this time he's good in rematches, Deontay, and I think he'll have gone back to the drawing board. He'd have had a look, but Fury's got the advantages going in this. He's a bigger guy, he's got the natural ability, the skill set, and the assets. Yeah. I think he can win this on points. My worry is he'll get hit at some point within the 12 rounds, and I'm not sure he'll be let off the hook like he was last time.
Yeah, I mean, you raised that great point around the first fight. Wilder was confused, and we say he looks better in the rematch, but with the Ortiz fight, although he got that devastating knockout, he was down down on the cards. Fury's the worst type of fighter to be so patient against. Would you not say?
Yeah, I mean, the rematch I'm talking about, the Vane Stavern, where he blew him away in a round, and look, he got the job done against Ortiz. I mean, Matt Macklin was commentating with me that night. He felt Deontay Wilder lost the first 6 rounds. So yeah, I mean, look, he landed the shot. We all know he's the biggest heavyweight puncher for years, and we feel that, I think we all feel, if he clocks him again and hits him hard, I mean, it's going to be hard for Fury, especially if it's early in the fight. The other thing to bring into the thinking is the cut. He wasn't great against Otto Wallin, and he did really well to get through with such a severe cut. That cut took almost 50 stitches, and to fight so soon afterwards, if that reopens again, that may play a factor. Plus, he's got a new corner. I think the best Tyson Fury beats the best Deontay Wilder if he's on song for the 12 rounds. But he's going to have to be full of concentration. And the other thing is, if he decides to mix it up a bit with him, and he said he'll go for the knockout. I don't believe that, but what I do believe is that he might stand his ground a bit more and try and attack Wilder's body a bit and not give him the room to let that right hand go. With that comes double the risk, because he leaves himself more open and closer. But yeah, look, it's got everything in the pot, hasn't it, for a fantastic fight? Yeah,
100%. And you spoke just then. Also, we're going to speak about Fury in terms of not just his approach to the game, in terms of his stamina. Do you think we're going to be able to see a stamina improve because he is heavier? It's his heaviest he's been in a while. His style is usually moving around the ring. So, do you think stamina could be an issue for Fury potentially in this fight?
I think stamina could be an issue for both of them, and it depends. I was just talking to David Hay, and he feels the weights are going to make it into a shootout. And actually they won't be able to help themselves, and it'll be really exciting. But if it does go 12 rounds, of course that's going to come into play. You got to remember, Tyson had lost all that weight before their first fight, and he lasted fine. And look at him in the 12th round after the knockdown, he came back at Wilder. So he's going to be fitter, Fury, for this camp. I know he's done a lot of hard work under Sugar Hill and Andy Lee, and I know Jordan Thompson's been in there sparring with him. Great, great talents in there. So he's had his work. He's worked really hard. Will the split with Ben Davidson, as a sort of, not just a great trainer Ben is, but also as the man that's been with Tyson ever since the sort of, the depths that he got himself into. If he's in trouble in the fight, if he's hurt, and he goes back to a corner, is that going to be missing? That Ben's not there? That's a question mark. So we don't know. It's a new team. He's trusted himself in that team. And Tyson Fury will be ripped and ready and right to go. And what a story it will be if he can become the WBC heavyweight champion. Britain has all the titles then, and what a story from where he's been, Tyson. That would be a miracle.
Yeah, 100% on that. So I've been here since Monday, and there's always fight week. There's always rumours flying around. One that's been seemed to be going around is that he's been having trouble in sparring, or maybe he got a cut lip, which, I mean, I don't know what that means, but in terms of his knees and ankles, have you heard anything around the camp and maybe any difficulties that he's had?
As I said, I've got 1 or 2 people in the camp that I know, and everything I've heard has been very positive. So, I mean, not that they probably would say anything else, but it's been pretty positive. I think that Tyson's great in his face. I did notice that on his lip, but look, you know, he's a fighting man, and I think that ultimately he's been written off time and time again. You know, before the first Wilder fight, everyone worried for him, and look what happened. And I think he rises to the occasion. Performance against Otto Wallin wasn't great, but you know, this is a big fight. You know, he knows what this means. But then so does Deontay Wilder. You know, Deontay Wilder maybe has not had the acclaim that he feels he should have in America. He's got all the charisma. You know, he's a great guy on and off the camera, and he's got the dynamite in his fists. But for some reason, in America, with the NBA and the NFL and the hockey and the baseball, everything that there is, it's harder. But now with Fox getting involved, ESPN, this joint pay-per-view they're doing, it's a big platform for Deontay as well. So whoever comes through this fight, I mean, we expect a third one. If it's good, I'm sure they'll do a trilogy. But you know, whoever comes through this is in a huge position. And Anthony Joshua, we hope, is waiting out there for the winner. You know, he's got his own business back home to take care of, just regaining his belts. But we need to see those fights, don't we? But first of all, we know one fight that is happening. It's Wilder against Fury, and I, for one, cannot wait.
Yeah. And the Ring Magazine have officially said their belt is on the line for this fight. Tell me your thoughts on that happening, and does that make the winner of this fight the #1 heavyweight in the world? Has to be the question to be asked, Adam.
Listen, it's always going to be subjective, isn't it? I mean, I said when Wilder fought Fury before, I thought going in that, you know, Anthony Joshua, Wilder were the best, and Fury had to prove himself. I thought Fury proved himself that night. I thought he became, for me, the #1 heavyweight in the world. Anthony Joshua loses to Ruiz, and suddenly people are saying, what is he? Is he 3? Is he whatever? Then he beats Ruiz in emphatic fashion. People are saying he's #1 again. I don't know. I mean, Deontay Wilder will think he's #1. He's unbeaten. You know, he's knocked almost everyone out. Tyson Fury's unbeaten. I mean, the 3 of them have all got acclaim, and I can see different orders. People saying over here probably that Fury and Wilder are ahead of Joshua. Probably Joshua fans back home are saying AJ still the #1. I mean, in popularity terms, in Britain, we know Anthony Joshua's, you know, he's transcended the sport in so many ways. But Tyson Fury's got a load of fans and a load of love because of the story he's told and where he's been. He's a brilliant stylist. He's maybe the naturally most technically gifted of them all, but maybe not the biggest puncher. Wilder's got that. So they've all got something. You know, they've all got different qualities, and they've all got different characters and personalities. And that's what we need to say. And you chuck Dillian White in, and maybe Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce and those guys as well, Usyk, Chisora. You know, it's a great time for the heavyweights. But yeah, people will say whoever wins tonight, they will feel, and the Ring Magazine will feel, is the #1 heavyweight on the planet. I think Anthony Joshua and his followers will disagree, but until they get in the ring, we find out for sure, we don't know. What we do want is we want what happened in the sort of Lewis Holyfield era. They fought a couple of times. Tyson Lewis eventually fought, and we didn't get Bowe against Lewis, but we got most of those, you know, those concoctions, and I think we need that again. We need Joshua to fight either Fury or Wilder within a year.
And last question for me, Adam. I know you arrived yesterday, but just from what you're feeling, what you're sensing, the people that you're seeing from the boxing world, is this a super fight?
It's a super fight, of course it is. You know, I wouldn't have travelled all the way over here if it wasn't a super fight. You know, BT are covering it, not Sky, remember, you know, and we're covering it on Sky Sports News. It's a fight to talk about. Yes, Anthony Joshua is a Sky fighter, but we're here and we followed Deontay Wilder very closely over the last few years. We covered Tyson Fury's massive win against Vladimir Klitschko out in Germany. So we've got huge interest, and we're all fight fans. You and I are, everyone on my team is. It's brilliant to be here. It's a great buzz. You're seeing all sorts of fighters, past and present. Celebrities are going to pack it out. This is a star-studded night, and one we should celebrate for boxing. Let's just hope we get as good a fight as the first time. I'm sure we'll get, you know, plenty of talking points. And as we always say, may the best man win. Who is that best man? We don't know yet.
In about 5-6 hours, we're going to be finding out. Adam, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the fight later on tonight, and safe journey home.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Good. Thank you.